This is going to be your review of Greenleaf Season 5, Episode 2. So I apologize ahead of time. Have to edit this video together because somehow the beginning part of my video got corrupted. So, but we start this episode off. We have Jacob at the storage locker, the storage unit, going through Mac's stuff, trying to find this information he needs to find about the will, because y'all know Carissa's holding his will over his head, honey. And I think part of it is the will situation, but the other part of it is he really wants to know if his parents are murderers. Like, that's deep. Down at the hospital, Grace has sent everybody home. It's just her and Sophia. And the doctor comes out, and the doctor lets her know that AJ is stable. Now, I know last week I was like, I was upset about them killing AJ off. A part of me felt like AJ wasn't dead. But then a part of me was just frustrated. Like, why are you getting me vested in this character that y'all are just, I feel like you're just screwing it up. But maybe they're going to redeem themselves. Maybe, after this attempt, some things going to come out. But the one thing that's going to come up, and I called this last season, y'all go back and look at my reviews. I called this last season. I talked about how I believe that AJ was HIV positive. And my question was, did we ever examine the medicine that he was stealing? And I think I said this last season. Was he stealing HIV meds? Was he stealing stuff that could be easily sold on the street so he could get money for meds? Because the doctor said some very curious things to Grace. Grace, in reference to did she want to get checked out? Did she have any cuts? Did his blood get into, like, she was worried about his blood, but she couldn't really say anything. We know because of HIPAA, she can't say nothing, but she was trying to make sure that Grace was, got checked out. And of course, Grace was like, look, I'm good. What's going on with my son? And she told her, listen, you probably not going to be able to see him anytime soon. Go ahead, go home and get you some rest. And you can also sort of tell that maybe he not going to be all that crazy about wanting to see Grace, which we find out later on is the case. They do go back to the house, and Grace is still not here for Charity. And I want to say I'm proud of Grace because, Grace is usually very benevolent and very much turn the other cheek, and all of this because, she is a pastor and everything. And I just ain't ready to forgive Charity. And I don't know what, and Charity says later on in the episode, what do I need to do? Like, how long we gonna do this? Like, y'all still mad? And a part of me is like, yes, Charity, we still mad. But another part of me is like, okay, well, if we all gonna be family, we do need to figure this shit out. So I don't know what the middle road is, but I do understand Grace ain't ready. And neither is Lady May. Lady May said, listen, y'all know how Lady May be stringing them words together, honey. Lady May told Charity that because Charity thought after she got invited to the wedding last week that everything was everything. Lady May said, listen, that wasn't my idea. That was your daddy's idea. He made me do it. I didn't want to invite you nowhere. As far as I was concerned, you need to be sitting in Potter's Field with, what she say, something about somebody swinging. Charity gonna say, who, Naomi? Lady May about lost it. She said, what? Do you read, woman? No, I'm talking about Judas. But, and of course, Charity just doesn't get it, because again, last week she thought we were good. Everything was everything last week. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly. I'll be splicing this together. I think I got the stuff that I didn't get. So we're going to splice this with the rest of the video that didn't get messed up. Y'all, it's a mess. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I hope I got everything. See y'all at the end of the video. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what happened to the first. I'm just going to splice them together. But anyway, Lady May and these one-liners are hilarious to me. So, upstairs, we have Clarissa talking to Zora. And they're having, Zora's being her same sassy, smart-ass self. And, Clarissa is like, listen, if you ever have anything, you can always talk to us. You can come to me. She's like, with everything going on with AJ, I don't ever want you to feel like things are so bad that you can't come and talk to me about what's going on. And of course, she's like, child, it's whatever. And she's saying how Nikki and old boy Dante are doing the break up the makeup thing. They doing that back and forth. Poor Sophia's caught up in that whole mix. So Jacob comes rolling in there, and Zora gonna say to him, "What you been, where you been coming in, this early?" And he was like, "I'm the adult, you're the child. You don't question me about my whereabouts. I question you." So Carissa's like, "Well, did you get my text about the meeting?" He was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, we got to be there in a half an hour." He was like, "All right, whatever." So Zora wants to know what this meeting is about. She's like, "Oh, so y'all are back in therapy?" And Carissa was like, Zora's not stupid. She realizes what's going on. She just, I guess, waiting for them to say it. So they end up going to, they're at the attorney's office. Remember, Jacob was like he didn't need to get an attorney because basically Carissa got him over a barrel anyway. So he ends up she wants custody of the son. And he wanted, like, he said, "Well, I want at least shared custody or joint custody." And Carissa was like, "No." And her attorney looked at her like, "I thought you said all this was worked out." And she just kind of gives him that look. And so Jacob just goes ahead and signs it. But I was like, "See, Carissa, you playing. Now you playing." But anyway, we'll get back to that. So, Rick Fox calls. He ends up calling, he ends up calling Grace, and Grace was like telling him what happened with AJ or whatever, and he was like, "Oh man," he was like, "Well, I was calling to see if you wanted, if you would ride with me out to, remember the other pastor from the white church that Hope and Harmony wanted to merge together?" He was like, "You told me that dude would talk to me because I'm trying to do this expose on the church, but he won't talk to me." And she said, "Well, I can't go see AJ until later on today, so I might as well ride out there with you anyway because keep my mind occupied." So they end up going out there to see the guy, and the guy won't talk to them. He won't talk to them. And, Darius was like, "Well, I thought you said he, wasn't trying to do the whole thing with Hope and Harmony." And she was like, "Well, he wasn't. Like, I'm not sure what it is." And he told him, he was like, "Listen, they done got wind of what y'all are doing, and we've been instructed not to speak to y'all." And she was like, "Well, what you mean not speak to us? Because I thought me and you was on the same page. Like, we was the," and he wouldn't talk to them. Now later on in the episode, he calls Grace and he says, "Listen, I'm gonna say something to you, and then I don't ever want to speak to you about it again. And tell your newspaper friend, don't call me no more, don't reach out to me. I'm not gonna talk to him." So he ends up giving Grace the name of like this insurance company. And Grace was like, "Well, what does that mean? What does that mean?" He was like, I ain't getting into all of that. Like, you figure it out." And he said the name, it's like, I forget the name of it. He said the name of it again, an insurance company. He said, "But I'm not," and I told y'all last week, it was deeper than him running for Senate. It's more to it, because that's just too, I don't know, that was just too easy of an answer for me. I was like, we had to get a little deeper. He was doing way too much maneuvering and too much devious shit for it to be that basic. So, Lord, I done got so caught up on Lady Mae and her Judas swinging from the tree. I forgot to tell y'all that Bishop was sort of agreeing. Bishop said, "Well, telling Charity, like, listen, Charity, your mama ain't all wrong." Like, and I'm thinking now last week, Bishop, you was all on this kumbaya. Now the mama ain't all wrong. Make up your mind, Bishop. Make up your mind. It's confusing the Charity. She's confused because y'all know Charity already. So Charity ends up stomping out of there because she was like, "Well, I'm just going to be around somebody that at least, she said, at least at work, the people there that like you." I got a secret to tell you, Charity. They don't like you there either. They don't. Nope. They don't like you there. Anyway, child. So, poor Sophia's calling Dante. Dante is not returning her calls. He is not entertaining her. Last she checked, she left Dante talking to Nikki and was feeling her, and got caught up in her low feelings. And she said on the message, she said, "Listen, I wasn't going to bother you, but a lot's been going on here. A lot with the family has been going on, and I kind of just want to talk to you, and I just need to know where we stand." And of course, she left one of those rambling ass messages that we leave when we don't know what to say and we don't know when to hang up. But he doesn't call her back, and her and Zora end up sort of somewhat making amends. And Zora tells her, like, "Listen, at the end of the day, we family. Like, we still gonna be family. I don't like what you did. I don't like why you did what you did. but you still my cousin, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. She was like, but you and Nikki really need to make up because I'm really tired of being in the middle of this bullshit. She tries to call. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this story on out. She tries to call Dante again. This time Dante doesn't answer the phone, but Nikki does. And she was like, well, can I speak to Dante? Nikki gonna tell her nope. Next thing you know, Zora comes running up to her, and Zora is like, did you send that dude some breast pics? And she gonna say, that's none of your business. She's gonna say, it's everybody's business. How about it's all over the internet? Now, y'all know what I think happened now. I think Nikki then got a hold, because she was in his phone. All she had to do was go through his pictures. Nikki done went through them pictures, and Nikki done posted them pictures online, honey. Now, baby, I hope you clearly weren't smart enough not to put your face. Because how did Zora know that those were your breasts? That's all I'm going to say. So, I'm sorry, but that's not going to be pretty. We're going to have to ride that storm out. And then she did also confess to Zora that she had sex with him, that she had, gave that boy her virginity. So, Zora feels some kind of, she feel a little bad for her a little bit for that. Now, Bishop and Lady Mae go visit Mavis's old spot. Now, y'all know that's already a sore spot before we even get started. And Bishop was like, this would be a great place for us to do this. But, we need to tear this building down because, this was a place of ill report. Y'all know, Lady Mae threw some real fancy words to basically say this was a club where a whole lot of stuff went down here. We can't turn this into the Lord's house. We're going to have to just tear it down and build a whole new edifice and consecrate the land. And Bishop was like, well, we got to at least call Mavis and make sure she cool with that. And she was like, why? Mavis left. And Mavis left this building to Grace. Grace can do with it whatever the fuck she want. Like, she don't need permission. And he was like, well, we at least, like, out of respect, like, there's so many legends that came through here. There's so much, like, that's crazy. We at least need to, we should talk to Mavis. So, of course, y'all know Lady Mae wasn't trying to hear that because y'all know that's already a sore spot between Bishop and Mavis. He ends up, later on in the episode, trying to call Mavis. Mavis ain't even, listen, he can't even get Mavis on the phone. And he tells Lady Mae, you know what, you're right. Let's just go ahead and do what we're going to do. We don't need to talk to Mavis. And then something really interesting happens. He forgot that she said they could get married on Flag Day. Now, like I said, I thought she was just throwing it out there. I didn't think she really meant it. So at first, that's how I took it. That she didn't really mean Flag Day, that she was just trying to get him off her back. But no, she really didn't mean it. And when he couldn't remember it, it kind of made her feel funny a little bit, like, okay, why doesn't he remember that I said Flag Day? So I don't know, remember at the beginning of the show, Bishop was sick. And I can't remember what it was, the MS that they said Bishop had. And we've sort of kind of gotten away from that storyline a little bit. But I'm wondering now if they're going to bring up some things going on with Bishop again. Now, down to Harmony and Hope, Charity come walking up in there, honey, and she goes sauntering into her office only to find out it is no longer her office, okay? Jane, Judy, Karen, whatever the child name is, she then took over the office, and she goes stomping up into Pastor's office talking about something. Did you give her my office? And he was like, well, customarily, like, that is the first lady's office. Like, you're the assistant pastor. Your office is X, Y, and Z. And she was like, really? They're getting, now the woman is painting and everything, right? She was like, we getting ready to tear this whole building down in a week. Is it that serious? Like, really? But of course, it's all about asserting her dominance and reminding Charity who the hell she is. Like, I'm about to be the first lady. You're not. So she ends up telling the woman, she says, you do know that the only reason why he's marrying you is because your daddy is making him. Like, he really loves me. And she gonna tell her, basically what she told her was, I really don't give a shit. We don't care. It was ugly, and Charity, it just, child, I don't know what to tell you, Charity. Let it go, child. Let it go. Down to the hospital. And Noah is there, and of course Noah is on this whole new year, new me thing. He is, let's get he wants to get to know his son, and his wife is leaving him. And he said, I was upset at first, but then I realized that I was kind of mourning over something that never really existed. Basically, I never really was in love with that woman like that. I was trying to make something work that wasn't working. And, I might not like the way it ended, but it is what it is. He said he living with his mama till he can figure things out, but he is back. And he almost sort of alluded to kind of him, hitting, Grace with the nod, like, we'll see, we're going to see what can happen between us. And, Grace ain't trying to hear that, child. Grace ain't trying to hear that. So they get to talking, and the doctor comes out there and lets them know, okay, he doesn't want to really see either one of y'all. He don't want to talk to his mama. He don't want to talk to you. And, Grace was like, what do you mean? And the doctor said, listen, right now he's going through a phase where he's embarrassed. He's embarrassed about what he did. He's going to have a hard time kind of facing you. And so she said, just give him some time. She said, come back tomorrow. He'll probably be ready to see you tomorrow, but just really give him some time to work this all out. So then Grace and Noah end up having this conversation, and Noah is telling her basically, listen, just like with everything, you're turning this into, like, you're making this about you, and it ain't about you, and it never has been about you, and you're really taking, and she was like, well, take that back. Like a little kid, take that back. Girl. But at the end of the day, everybody could have played that whole situation a little bit better than how we played it. It is what it is. We are where we are now, child. AJ is what AJ is, child. Ain't nobody tripping off of that. And just come back, Grace. Just come back. So, Zora ends up confronting her mother and father, and she tells them, like, listen, y'all are getting a divorce, right? Like, just tell me what it is. Stop lying to me. I can tell that something ain't right here. I can tell there's something going on. So, I mean, y'all getting a divorce or what? Like, just let it be what it's going to be. Then we have a moment with Grace and her mom, and they're really sharing a tender moment where she said she was just visiting Faith, and she told her, she said, listen, you have a second chance with AJ. Like, yes, he tried to commit suicide, but at the end of the day, he wasn't successful, and you have a second chance. Like, figure it out, basically. But she was very tender about it. Like, she wasn't nasty. She wasn't her normal, Lady May self child. And Charity gonna say to her mama, Charity gonna say, tell me what to do to fix it. She was like, what you mean? Tell me what I need to do to fix this. Like, y'all just going, for the rest of my life, y'all just gonna be mad. Y'all just gonna not speak to me for the rest of my life. And her mother said, listen, your sister almost lost her child. I just came back from the grave of my child. We don't need this right now. Like, we don't need to deal with this right now. So, Clarissa, damn it, not Clarissa, Lord have mercy. Charity gonna go to Grace with this poem that she wrote to her son, the other twin, the one that passed away. And she gonna read the poem, and of course the poem is saying all this sappy stuff about, I love you and I'm sorry and blah 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 blah. And Grace was like, how this supposed to help me? She said, well, I just want you to know that, I lost a child too. She said, I didn't lose a child. She said, but I just want you to understand that I know how you feel. She said, the fact that you would come in here right now and make all of this about you tells me that you really don't understand what is going on. And she ends up walking away. And so, my thing with this, Charity, is, like, you had to know. Like, did you really not think, like, what? I don't know what you thought was going to happen. Anyway, in the West Wing, Clarissa and Jacob are arguing, and Jacob is in his feelings because Zora automatically jumped to the conclusion that the reason why they're getting a divorce is because Jacob had another affair. And of course, Clarissa let her believe it, and Jacob was like, I'm about to go tell her the truth. Like, you're not going to walk away from this looking like, everything is all roses on your side and I'm the bad guy. Like, she need to understand that and what he should have said was, she need to understand that we both made mistakes. What he was saying was, she need to go understand that you're the reason why that this happened. And she was like, well, no, for 20 years of this marriage, it was you. She was like, it was you, and I forgave you every time. But this time, I made a mistake, and you can't seem to forgive me, which is what I said last week, that Carissa don't really want the divorce. But, men can't forgive. Women, men always want the forgiveness, but they can't never give the forgiveness. But anyway. So, I think, all right. I think we're almost done. Okay, yeah. So last but not least, honey, Lady May is, well, not last, but anyway, we almost last. Lady May is eating again because after everything that went on with Bishop, and she not sure whether Bishop really forgot, because he sort of covered himself, but at the end, but you still sitting there like, did you really forget when we said we was getting married, or like, is there something else going on? So between that, and then of course with Grace and Charity and the baby and AJ, she is eating, honey, and she said that the Lord has shown her that she needs her strength for the storm that's coming. So I said, Lord, the Lord done told her some things, honey. The Lord done told her some things. So that is pretty much, last but not least, this is the last part. Jacob is fishing with the baby, because that's why he took the fishing rod and the tackle box, because he's out fishing with the baby. And while he's going through the tackle box, he finds the will. Because, of course, Clarissa is holding that will over his head. Because Clarissa kept telling him, Clarissa was like, you go tell Zora that I cheated on you and that I gave you chlamydia. Then I'm going to be forced to go down to the police and tell the police about this daggone will. So he ends up reading the will and come to find out that the son, the woman who owned the property, she originally was going to leave the house to another person, and the person, I believe, I forgot the name, but I think it was Basie's dad, the guy that died in the fire. I think it was Basie's dad. Next thing you know, Jacob is knocking on Tasha's door. Now, here's the part this Greenleaf, I'm going to have to call you out on this one. Why would Jacob think that Tasha was at that house? They left in the middle of the night. Remember, last season, they left. Tasha ain't been nowhere. She ain't been answering his calls or nothing. Unless they've been communicating all this time, or been communicating and we didn't know nothing about it. Next thing you know, he knocking on Tasha's door. Tasha actually answered the damn door. And he gonna say, Tasha, I really need to see Basie. And she was like, well, Jacob, Basie is dead. And that's where the episode is. But that one threw me off, because I'm like, why would you think she there? So it's something with that name on that will connected to Basie. I think it was Basie's dad's name, but don't quote me on that, y'all, because I'm really not sure. But either way, Basie is connected to that will and who that house was supposed to go to versus who the house ended up going to. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.